However, I shall accept this chaste girl as my wife, on the condition that after she bears semen from my body, I shall accept the life of devotional service accepted by the most perfect human beings. That process was described by Lord Vishnu. It is free from envy. Kardama Muni expressed his desire for a very beautiful wife to Empress Swayambhuva and accepted the Empress daughter for marriage. So this is the context here. Kardama Muni says that once Devotee is impregnated, then I'll leave. And Prabhupada explains in the purport of today's verse that very interestingly Prabhupada uses the word good father. There are two kinds of children born of good fathers. One is educated in Krishna consciousness so that he can be delivered. And second is the ray of the Supreme Personality who preaches and delivers others. So the entire paragraph of this purport is dedicated to explaining there are two kinds of children born of good fathers. Actually, first is the incomplete yogi, one who has left his yoga incomplete in the past life. He comes to good parents and then he continues his journey further. And second is the ray of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This ray of Supreme Personality of Godhead, it also has two divisions. One is pure devotee comes, and second is the Lord himself comes. So there are three kinds of children now. Sadhak, who is yet to complete his sadhana and go back to Godhead. A pure devotee and Supreme Lord. And we have an example. Could be many examples. One example where a great soul, a pure devotee and Supreme Lord, all three are born to the same father. This is Kashyap Rishi. Lord Vamana came as Supreme Lord, Upendra. Then pure devotee is Arema is pure devotee, and even Garuda Dev. He is called as Vainathaya. He is son of Vinita, another wife of Kashyap Rishi. So he is a pure devotee. Then we have elevated souls like Indra. May not be pure devotee, but they are devotees. That's how they are demigods. So Sadhak, who will maybe eventually complete his bhakti. Right. So this is one example where all three kinds of great personalities have been begotten by a good father. So with respect to those educated in Krishna consciousness and can be delivered from the clutches of Maya, Prabhupada writes here that this is the reason to beget child. Another reason is that highly enlightened parent can train a child in Krishna consciousness so that the child will not have to come back again to this miserable world. Parents should see to it that the child born of them does not enter the womb of a mother again. So we have very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru na sasyat, Janni na sasyat, Pita na sasyat, na mochiyet yaha samupeta mrityu. So one should not become a guru, one should not become a parent, one should not become a leader, one should not become a devata. Right? So one should not take up any responsible post unless he can deliver the dependents from the clutches of birth and death, cycle of birth and death. Yaha samupeta mrityum, na mochiyet. Mochiyet means to release, mukta karna, to free somebody from the impending death. Means there should be no more death for the subjects of such people. That means they should get liberated. Death should not come, they should get liberated. Right? So, this is a responsibility. If someone doesn't take up this responsibility, right, of a parent and delivering the child from the clutches of cycle of birth and death, then it's sinful. He has to suffer for that. He'll be punished for that. So people think responsibility is get them educated, get them settled in life, job laga do, business khol do, shadi kara do. Means our responsibility is over. But they haven't started even the basic responsibility 1% if they have not brought them to Krishna consciousness. Right? Real responsibility is to bring them to Krishna consciousness. Right? Train them in such a way that they pursue their journey of spiritual progress towards Krishna, towards Goloka. So this is a big misconception. And if by chance a good soul has come, they are irresponsible. The good soul, by the dint of his previous birth and the bhakti he has done, he gets attracted to this devotional path. They'll stop him from taking up this devotional path, isn't it? So, Kali Yuga means the whole system is going in opposite direction, totally opposite direction. Right? But they do not know the fortune of getting such a child. Right? This, even if such a child is Kanishta Adhikari, doesn't matter. 3 generations will be liberated. Minimum 3 generations. Right? So that is the fortune. So if somebody is not a devotee, he has got a devotee child or inclined towards devotional service, he should encourage that devotional service. I'll enjoy material life, but I'll push my child. You do bhakti, so that by your bhakti I get liberated. So you have best of both the worlds, isn't it? But people are so ignorant. Like Hiranyakashipu, classic example. Hiranyakashipu, name itself suggests, Prabhupada says, Hiranya means gold. He's too much fond of gold, and Kashipu means nice soft bedstead, a nice soft bed. So he's too much fond of sleeping and enjoying bed pleasures. So Hiranyakashipu is like that. But he had a devotee child. And the child, after Hiranyakashipu's death, he is praying to Supreme Lord Narasimhadev, please forgive my father, please liberate him. So Narasimhadev says, what to talk about your father? 21 generations up and down will be liberated, don't worry. So Hiranyakashipu kind of person also can mind his own business and encourage the child to do bhakti. But that durmati or that wrong intelligence is such, he will not do bhakti and elevate himself, and he will stop even somebody who is there to liberate him. Prahlad Maharaj does tapasya, he does bhakti, he does sadhana, and he liberates the whole family. Right? That is also not agreeable to him. So this is the precarious situation. But in this case, anyway, Lord is sitting as Paramatma. So Lord Krishna explains that this is a natural attraction for an incomplete yogi to take up the path of yoga. Natural attraction. Right? Even without seeking such devotional, path, he gets drawn towards it naturally. Right? So Arjuna asks in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, very famous that set of verses, that what happens to a person. Lord Krishna, actually in 6th chapter, the thread of 6th chapter is on mind. Right? So Lord Krishna is talking about attaining the Supreme Lord by mind. The chapter is called as Dhyan Yoga. So whole chapter is on mind. Right? How to detach mind, how to attach mind, how to train the mind, difficulty in concentrating the mind. Like that the whole chapter runs. Now Arjuna, he asks a question. Right? After hearing all the instructions of the Lord, and even Arjuna said that I can control wind, but I cannot control mind. So how to handle this situation? So Lord says by Abhyas and Vairagya. Still Arjuna is skeptical. Why? Devotional path is very easy, but the path of yoga or jnana is very difficult. Right? In 12th chapter also Lord says it's very difficult. Klesho adik tarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam. So it's full of difficulty, klesha, and it's full of, one is klesha, troublesome, and one is it's very slow, difficult path. Now bahunam janmanam ante jnanmanam prapadyate. So Arjuna's question is with respect to this, that the process is tough, process is lengthy, right, full of obstacles, hurdles. So Arjuna said, what is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere, who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization, but who later desist due to worldly mindedness. So Arjuna's question is centered around mind. That mind gets attracted to worldliness, worldly activities, worldly pleasures, and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. So this is Arjuna's question. So he is asking Lord that please resolve this doubt. In good faith, he has taken. Right? Out of enthusiasm, he took up this devotional path. But mind got attracted to worldly things because the path of yoga itself is so difficult. Right? It is fully focused on concentrating the mind, withdrawing the mind from matter, putting it in Krishna. And a common man is not trained in this. Even if somebody efforts or endeavors to do this, Maya attacks. So what will be the destiny? So very interesting answer Lord gives. This first verse of his answer. The blessed Lord said, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So, Prabhupada explains many key words from this purport. Right? That what happens to such a yogi who has fallen, incomplete yogi. A transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities. So, what are the auspicious activities? Right? So, Prabhupada explains that the auspicious activities, first, there are a category of people who follow Shastra, and there are a category of people who do not follow Shastra. Right? In 16th chapter, they are explained as divine and demoniac people. The difference between divine and demoniac people is divine consciousness, people having divine consciousness, they follow the rules of Shastra, and people of demoniac consciousness, they ignore or do not follow the rules of Shastra. Right? So Prabhupada says, first step is to come to an auspicious life. First step is to follow the Shastra. But then the Shastra talks about many activities. Out of those, majorly the activities are about sense enjoyment, attaining heavenly planets, having a good birth, etc. So even in Shastra, there are inauspicious activities. These are going to heavenly planets or enjoying superior birth, etc. Why? They do not release one from the clutches of birth and death. Then comes the path of yoga. Right? Then comes the path of yoga, that is Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, which release one from the cycle of birth and death. These are auspicious. But out of these also, the most auspicious or really auspicious is Krishna Bhakti, because one having gone to Krishna Loka never comes back. Even somebody goes to Brahma Jyoti, he gets liberated from the material world, but there's a danger of coming back, falling down into this material world. So real auspicious activity is Krishna consciousness. Nevertheless, anybody following any of these three, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, right, is not bereft of that benefit. So this is how the auspicious path is explained, right, as mentioned by the Lord. Then he does not meet with destruction. Correct? So how is saved from destruction? Whatever yoga he has done, he has performed, is protected by the Lord. This also Lord says, Yoga Kshemam Vaham Meham. So Yoga Kshemam, Prabhupada explains in the purport. Yoga Kshemam means that whatever yoga one has done, Lord will protect that. Lord will not let it get diminished or destroyed. As in second chapter we read, Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat neha vikrama nashasti pratyavayana vidyate. So in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. Even a small progress on this path can save one from the greatest danger. Isn't it? So in this way one is saved from destruction. Whatever he has attained, whatever he has achieved will go further. Now third point Lord says in this, one who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So anybody who does good, so what is the good? Anybody who follows the path of yoga, any of these yogas, is never overcome by evil. This Lord explains how he is never overcome by evil. he gets a good birth. Now this is what we are discussing in our third canto, upper part. Right? The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So why he is given such a birth? After enjoying many years on the planets of pious living entities. So Lord says, one who does good is never overcome by evil. So he has double benefit. One is you get material enjoyment, and second is you get your spiritual progress continued, protected. Your spiritual progress is protected, and you continue that. Right? So this sacrifice or detachment, as shown by a yogi, any of these yogis, or Prabhupada counts all three of them in this: Jnana Yogi, Dhyana Yogi, Bhakti Yogi. Right? Krishna considers the sacrifice of worldly pleasures. And somebody, like Arjuna's question was that somebody has given up this. Right? Somebody has given up this path. O mighty arm Krishna, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? He has left material world, so no position in material world now. He has taken to yogic path, but he has failed, so no position in yogic path also. So neither he is enjoying material world, nor is enjoying the spiritual path, or getting the benefit, reaping the benefits of spiritual path. Right? He is in between, hanging. Right? Because he left the material world and fell down. So now he is in no position, no sphere. So Krishna says, no, not like that. He gets both the spheres. He left earthly pleasures. Right? So as a reward to him, he is given heavenly pleasures, more than that you enjoy. Okay. For the hard work you have done for leaving these earthly pleasures, Krishna gives heavenly pleasures. Right? So you get high quality of lifestyle there. Eating in golden plates, pure ghee items, not mixed ghee items. A luxurious apartment or palace, luxurious lifestyle, long duration of life, and no old age, no pangs of mostly diseases. Only sometimes asuras will attack. That's all. Otherwise, rest of the life is happy. And even Bhagavatam says that their body doesn't smell bad. So you have a lot of good things there to enjoy. So Krishna gives that. And then when he comes back after enjoyment, now this is Lord's mercy. By the virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles. Lord makes sure that he follows his yoga further. Right? So before that, he is given birth in one of the three kinds of families: rich aristocracy, pious families, and yogic families. So when a person takes birth in such families, when a person takes birth in pious family, right, he gets a conducive atmosphere, conducive environment to continue his yogic practice. Right? He gets a conducive environment. Right? Already all the samskaras, purity of existence, sattvic lifestyle, religiosity in the family, encouragement for such devotional principles, already it is existing. He just goes and fits into it and he continues his bhakti. Then there is rich aristocracy where a person need not struggle for existence. Right? Prabhupada says, those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. So there is no struggle for existence. No time for japa. Why working hard? Why you're working hard? So many EMIs are there, loans are there. I have to fulfill that. So all those kind of hassles Krishna has saved. Struggling hard to make the ends meet. To get a proper meal a day. So if somebody is fully occupied with these things, engaged in these things, then how will he focus on bhakti? Always anxious about struggle for existence. So Krishna relieves one from the struggle for existence by putting in such aristocratic or rich families. Then third birth is very, very auspicious. That is in yogic family. Right? So Prabhupada here in this third birth. Prabhupada very interestingly tells, by the grace of Lord, Prabhupada explains that there are some so-called Goswami families, and then there are pure Goswami families also. So-called Goswami families means they are yogic families, but so-called means their title is Goswami, their surname is Goswami, but their practices are not spiritual. Just title is there, they're busy in their routine life, mundane life. But there are really Goswami families also existing. So Prabhupada explains that by the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalists generation after generation. So there are families in which generation after generation transcendentalists are born. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. So we can understand the level by what Prabhupada is going to mention further. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord, and both of us were trained in devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. So, what kind of families are these where such pure devotees are born? We can understand. And what is the level of those devotees who take birth? Right. So, we are discussing that three kinds of pious souls, or a good father begets three kinds of children. One is the sadhak, which Arjuna is asking about, who has left his journey incomplete. Right? What happens to him? So Krishna says he'll get best of both the worlds. He'll enjoy heavenly planet and then come and continues spiritual path. So he'll take birth in pious family, aristocratic family, or after long time of practice, if he has practiced yoga for a long time and fallen down, he gets birth in yogic family. So it's not ordinary to get birth in yogic family. Pure devotees like Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, they are taking birth in such families. And in this purport also, today's discussion purport, Prabhupada is saying that in the same order as Kardama Muni, about 100 years ago, Thakur Bhakti Vinoda also wanted to beget a child who could preach the philosophy and teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the fullest extent. Right? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed, and Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj was born. By his prayers to the Lord, he had as his child Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who at the present moment is preaching the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya throughout the entire world through his bona fide disciples. So somebody is born a pure devotee and somebody is a sadhak. But Lord's arrangement is such that he engages, a pure devotee is meant to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. But Lord's arrangement is such that even somebody who is in touch with the pure devotee, who engages in sadhana bhakti, not a pure devotee, just sadhak, still he can do good to this world, right? By preaching, by his contribution to the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even he can do. So in this way, a sadhak not just by doing his sadhana is becoming glorious, but one who comes in touch with Lord Chaitanya's movement, Lord Chaitanya's mission, he gets additional benefit of contributing to Lord's mission. That is the greatest glory. Lord says, Dharma Sansthapanarthaya, correct? For the purpose of establishing Dharma. For the purpose of establishing Dharma, I come. So, in Bhagavad Gita, one purport, Prabhupada writes that a pure devotee or a devotee of the Lord, he engages on behalf of the Lord. Right? He engages in devotional service, he engages in preaching on behalf of the Lord. So once one person, he was arguing with me, how somebody can act on behalf of the Lord. He acts on the behalf of the Lord. Right? So how somebody can act on the behalf of the Lord? So the whole point is, acting on behalf of the Lord means taking position of the Lord and doing what Lord does. Right? It's not the position or capacity of a conditioned living entity. Right? It's not a position of a living entity for that matter. Right? But Lord empowers. And what is the mission of Lord? Lord Krishna asked Arjuna also, Nimitta Matra, become an instrument, act on my behalf. So what is the mission of the Lord? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushyatam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavam yogi yogi. Right? So Lord comes to establish dharma. Anyone who takes up, becomes an instrument. What Lord has to speak, what message Lord has to communicate to the world, to the conditioned living entities. If one takes up that seva, that service, in a humble mood to preach the mission of the Lord, he is acting on behalf of the Lord. Lord, sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart, wants everyone to get enlightened in Krishna consciousness. Lord wants everyone to know Krishna. Lord wants everyone to practice his devotional path. Lord wants everyone to come back to Godhead. Right? People are incapable of hearing the Lord's voice because of material contamination. So Lord empowers living entities to speak on his behalf and communicate this message. So one can talk on Lord's behalf, provided he abides, he adheres to the principles of the sampradaya, the parampara. He adheres to the teachings of the previous acharyas. He adheres to the teachings of Prabhupada. He just repeats it. So it's like a tape recorder. Right? Say a singer is singing in studio. He wants his voice to reach to millions of people. So his voice is again broadcasted or telecasted by radio. Say singer is singing in say Delhi and somebody sitting in say Chennai. Right? When the radio telecast happens, the transistor or tape recorder or whatever instrument is playing the same voice. The transistor or tape recorder is communicating the message of the singer, right? He's become on behalf of the singer. He's presenting the same message, same voice to the audience. So in this way, actually the word to act on behalf of the Lord is not ordinary, right? But Lord gives that prerogative, even to those who are practicing sadhana bhakti, provided they are adhering to the principles given by bona fide spiritual master. They're adhering to the parampara. They're adhering to the words, coming in the parampara. So this is a prerogative one can get. So being a sadhak, incomplete yogi, taking birth and completing yoga, it itself is glorious. Lord Krishna glorifies, such a person. But further, becoming an instrument in Lord Chaitanya's movement like this, delivering his message to somebody and transforming somebody's life, even to little extent, is the most glorious thing, one can get. That to Lord Chaitanya's movement, which is most glorious movement, most glorious path of devotion, directly giving Krishna prema to everybody. Becoming a small instrument, even Vartma Pradarshak, just connecting to somebody, adds to our glory. So this is the fortune we have got. Right? Even though we may not be past incomplete yogis, but Prabhupada has brought us here and put us into this system. Even demigods took incarnations or took birth to participate in Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. They were anxious whether we'll get a chance, we'll get an opportunity. Sun god, moon god, Brahmaji, Indra, everybody, all Agni, Vayu, everybody came just to take part in Sankirtan and preach. So incarnations of Lord came to take part. Pure devotees of Lord came to take part. All exalted personalities have come to take part in Sankirtan movement. We have been brought and put into the Sankirtan movement. Right? Not just to do Sankirtan, but to even preach Sankirtan. So this is the glory. One attains this glory by having an exalted spiritual father, right? Like Prabhupada. So Prabhupada has picked us up, taken under his shelter like children, and this is the glorious life we have got. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss any updates.